Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome to some more Hearthstone Heroes of Warcraft. Today we're gonna take a look, I actually really like this opener hand, but today we're gonna take a look at the Mimiron's Head Rogue deck. Now I gotta be honest in instantly telling you that this is not going to be the most efficient way of leveling up or ranking up in Hearthstone. It's just a really fun deck to mess around with. Because as you might have guessed already by reading the card description of Mimiron's Head, it is going to be really tricky to pull it off. Basically what the card is all about, it's a legendary card that when you have, at the end of your turn, when you have 3 mechanical units, or at the start of your turn rather, you have 3 mechanical units out on the board as well as Mimiron's Head, it will kill all these 3 minions and spawn a 4/8 that can attack up to 4 times, which is ridiculously strong obviously, and most of the time that is a game ending situation. But I'll be honest in saying that most of the time whenever I at the very least play it, it is a bit of a gimmick, but because, you know, because most of the time your opponent will have a way of at the very least not allowing you to get the Mimiron's Head out. Now, as always, I'm going to be first playing a game with this actual deck, so hopefully I'll be able to show you some good gameplay right here. And after that, we will jump into the deck list, over which I go over all the cards that, you know, that are running in this deck and the cards that you could be swapping around and whatnot. Now, if you haven't seen the game yet, where I do manage to get Mimiron's Head out with a pretty similar deck as this, I would highly recommend you check that one out first, because it will go over all of the details and all the things that you really need to be knowing in this situation, okay? So I'm gonna go for the Annoy-o-Tron right here. I freaking love the Annoy-o-Tron. As you might have guessed, it's very annoying. No real reason not to go for Annoy-o-Tron. And this combination right here on the board is already very solid. Now, basically what this deck is, it's a pretty straightforward, standard, aggressive rogue deck that has Mimiron's Head in here, okay? Even if you don't have Mimiron's Head, you could still give this deck a try if you feel like you just wanna try it out, because it's pretty great. It's pretty great, not gonna lie. So far we've had complete control, but most of the time a later point in the game is where things get kind of difficult. This card doesn't really, or this deck doesn't really have very many silences, and to be exact, we got 0. All in all, like, it doesn't have the best card draw either, so we really need to try our best in taking down the opponent early on. Now Iron Sensei would be very sweet in this situation. I can also go... No, I won't really be able to clean that up as easily as I hope to. So I think I'm gonna go a little bit more to the face right here. Iron Sensei, Cogmaster would be alright. He's not gonna be able to swipe this anyway. There we go. Just going to the face. Now this guy gives... Oh, he actually managed to give the Annoy-o-Tron right there. This guy gives a random minion at the end of my turn +2/+2. Which is huge, because now it actually means the Annoy-o-Tron got even more annoying. Turn 5, I'm gonna be playing the Assassin's Blade, almost guaranteed. Usually you're better off just playing this card really early on. Sludge Belcher actually being played by my opponent, which is a little bit frustrating, but we should be able to deal with that, I'm imagining right here. Do we want to play this though? Let's see. Do have to clean that guy up somehow. This will give me 3 attack. Which would be good because I can trade him. He becomes a 2/1. After that I can run him into the other minion right there. And then clean it up like that. Alright. We're gonna be playing it right here. It's just such a strong card to play at turn 5. Pretty much every single time you have it, you want to try and play that. There we go. Now what's the most efficient way of doing this little bit right here? Let's have a look. I can either attack you like that, or I can attack you like that. There's a 50% chance he will give him a +2/+2. Alright, so it's a little bit more efficient to do it like that. And there we go. Boom. Now, so far we haven't drawn into Mimiron's Head yet, but, you know. Now, the one reason why I'm actually running this as a rogue deck, I haven't pointed that out yet. The reason why I'm running this as a rogue deck is simply for the fact that we have Conceal. Now, I'm only running a single Conceal because most of the time, like I said, it is a bit of a gimmick. And, you know, in order to get Mimiron's Head out efficiently, it is most of the time going to be better to get a Conceal out. So if you manage to play the Mimiron's Head into a Conceal, something like that, most of the time that is going to be your best option. So that's the reason why. Actually gonna deadly poison it up right here. There we go. And do we go Tinkertown Technician or do we go Mechanical Yeti? Actually I like the idea of having a spare part right now. Let's see what we get. A Rusty Horn. Alright, that's actually pretty solid right there.
Here we
Gotta clean him up, obviously. Give him the rusty horn. Make sure he becomes a taunt. And my turn. So far things are going great. We haven't seen Mimiron's head yet. But yeah, like we still managed to take a pretty solid victory right here. I mean, I don't really see what my opponent would be doing at this point. Show me what you're up to. Oh, an Ancient Award. That's pretty solid. That's gonna be kind of annoying to deal with. Now do we have... Oh yeah, we do have lethal. Sweet. I'm gonna just Eviscerate straight onto his face. Now, we didn't see Mimiron's head, but let's jump straight into the deck list. Alright, so here we are. This is going to be the deck list for Mimiron's Aggro Rogue deck. Keep in mind that Mimiron's head is either a finisher or a card that allows you to sort of force your opponent to attack your minions and not end out the game. Well, obviously, if it can end the game, it will try and do so. But most of the time, Mimiron's head is more of a gimmick than really anything else. But if you do manage to get our FO7-Tron or VO7-Tron out, you know, you will be in a great position. And the easiest way of doing so is Mimiron's head combined with Conceal. Now, if you want to play this as a bit more of a gimmicky deck, even more gimmicky as it already is, you could actually drop in a second Conceal right here and maybe get rid of like Jeeves or something like that, just to be getting that second Conceal in. Now the nice thing why I'm actually running a Cold Blood is that if you get VO7-Tron or FO7, I never really know how to pronounce it, but if you do manage to get that guy out, which can attack up to 4 times, obviously the Cold Blood is going to be absolutely amazing because that means he is going to be a 8/8 that can attack up to 4 times in a single turn, which is absolutely ridiculous. So here we go. That's the reason why we're running Cold Blood and Conceal and a Mimiron's head. Now other than that, we have Deadly Poison, really standard card. Cogmaster. This is not so much a mechanical unit, but it's just very nice if you are running a mechanical units heavy, or mechanical, what do you call it, minion heavy deck. Then we got the double Eviscerate right there. Also, once again, a great card for any rogue deck. Annoy-o-Tron. I would say this is one of the more important cards. This one just lines up and just synchronizes everything else so incredibly good. For example, you can play a Cogmaster turn 1 into an Annoy-o-Tron turn 2. Or turn 1 Cogmaster into Annoy-o-Tron turn 2, you're gonna have a extremely strong board right from the get-go, because that's a 3-2, and that's a 1-2 with, you know, Divine Shield and Taunt, and it's just going to be very frustrating for your opponent to deal with. I mean, he doesn't want to silence an Annoy-o-Tron, and meanwhile the Cogmaster should be able to get at least 2 hits off, which is huge. Then we got the Goblin Auto-Barber. This is mostly as a way of buffing up your weapon, as well as it's a pretty solid 3-2 all around. Just a nice card for any mech, or for any rogue deck to be running. The Mechwarper, a mechanical unit itself that makes your mechs cost 2 less, or 1 less rather, but it's for 2 mana. Then we got the Micro Machine, also a very solid 2-drop. Kind of similar to the Cogmaster in a way that if you combine it with the Annoy-o-Tron, it's great, especially if you play the coin turn 1 into Micro Machine and then play turn 2 Annoy-o-Tron. Great little combination right there. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Come back here, Annoy-o-Tron. You don't get rid of me that easily. Harvest Golem. This actually got transferred into a mechanical unit with the Goblins versus Gnomes expansion. What happens is that this guard used to be just a normal minion, but right now it's just a mech unit, so it's great. It already used to be an absolutely amazing 3-drop, and right now it's even more awesome. Iron Sensei, also a mechanical unit, but this one gives you friendly mechs +2/+2. As you can see in the previous game as well, this is just a great overall card. Then we got the SI7 agent. Now, I'm not completely sure about this card. You could try and swap this one out, but because most of the rogue decks are running this one, you can definitely give it a try as well. Now, if you want to give other cards a try, there are definitely like other 3-drop minions that you might want to have a look at as well. Let's see if we have any other mechanical 3-drops right here. Alarmabot, not the biggest fan of that, but maybe something like the Flying Machine or something if you feel like more comfortable with that. SI7 agent, definitely a very strong card though. Give it a try and see what you think of it. Now we have the Tinkertown Technician, also a minion right there that gives you a big benefit if you already have mechanical units out on the board, which with this deck most of the time you will have at turn 3. So turn 3, 4/4 with a free part, I would highly recommend getting it. Now the Jeeves, this is where things get a little bit more tricky, okay? Jeeves and Sprint, I would say, are the 2 cards that you can really mess around with. Both are really the cards that allow you to draw more cards, which is great, obviously, but if you get it out, it's gonna also benefit your opponent, which is where this card is not as amazing. So, you know, if you feel like you have another better way of running a card draw in this deck, you could maybe even draw like the loot hoarders, like switch out the Jeeves and the sprint for loot hoarders and see how that goes. I've been running a single Jeeves instead of 2, and I've been running a single sprint instead of 2 as well, just to get the potential of card draw, because else you just don't have enough cards in your hand in most games. And then we also have the mechanical Yeti, basically like the what's the other Yeti called? What's the other Yeti even called? I don't even know anymore. The Chillwind Yeti, there we go. It's basically like a better version of him, and it's a mechanical unit, so it's basically a no-brainer. Assassin's Blade, if you manage to get him, turn 5, I would highly recommend you play him instantly, because most of the time he's going to be more beneficial if you play him early on in the game. And last but not least, we have Mimiron's Head, because we already went over Sprint, but Mimiron's Head is going to be the card that runs this deck. And like I said, if you manage to get him out, you manage to combine it with Conceal, and then later with a Cold Blood, you're going to have an absolutely amazing board. So all in all, pretty fun deck to mess around with. I would highly recommend that you give this deck a try if you feel like having some fun in Hearthstone. Other than that, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well if you want to see more. And I want to thank you guys all for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, and I'll see you in the next one.